board exam experience with Dr. Kwafu. Today we have Dr. Douglas Adu-Tutu. He is an intern at the second affiliated hospital of Hainan Medical University in China. And of course, he's my classmate. He took the USMLE Step 1 exams and had a 100 percentile score. He had 270. This is an amazing score, and I know anybody who has been following the USMLE exams can really appreciate this score. Today he has joined us to share with us his experience on how he studied and really viewers. On this channel, I interview doctors who have successfully passed or failed any medical board exams to share their exam preparation experience with us and with all those preparing to write theirs. I encourage anyone watching me at this moment to kindly subscribe to this channel and also recommend this channel to any medical student or medical doctor who is preparing to write the board exams of any country. If you have experience with the board exams of any country and would like to share with us, kindly reach out to me on my Facebook page, Instagram, or leave a comment at the comment section under this video and I'll keep in touch. So with the USMLE, how long did it take you to prepare for these exams?
Okay, I came here with an intention of like coming for medical studies, right?
Okay.
But for the first like semester, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I came in as a Chinese student, like Chinese language student.
Okay.
Yeah. So like during that time, I wasn't having any busy thing doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't remember like there was this day that I decided to like go online and find something to read about like this course. Yeah. So I came across like a review, right? Kaplan anatomy review.
Anatomy. Okay.
Yeah. So and it was unfortunate that like the person like took time to explain like give information about like the nature of the like content he is presenting. So I found out that like foreigners also qualifies to like take this.
Take the USMLE exams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I have a family there, but I never had like any conversation
With them
them.
concern. Okay, you have a family in the US.
Yeah.
But you never had conversation concern USMLE. Okay.
So it was at that point that like I made my personal research about it, and then I decided to like take the exams. So I made that like choice before starting school.
Starting medical school.
Yeah.
During your Chinese.
Chinese.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a big decision.
Yeah.
Okay. So since then, did you change? How did you start?
Okay.
Preparation?
Okay. Since I wasn't doing anything busy, like I took my time like to watch like reviews of people who passed the exams,
Okay.
like how they started and everything, and like I found out that our system is not suitable
Okay.
because like the like students in like America, like they spend I think about 8 years to finish like
The whole medical.
everything, 4 years period, and then
Okay.
yeah. So I decided that since it may not be that favorable for us, right? I'll start early, right, and then so that I can catch up. Yeah. So for me, I started like learning the medical courses personally before I started school. So before we started, like I was already done with some of the basic small courses like embryology,
Okay.
anatomy,
Histology.
histology, cell biology. So I made a schedule that every semester, right? Like I will introduce a new course
Okay.
to the course that
The school
very good,
curriculum. Okay.
very good. Yeah. So I did it that way.
Okay. Okay. So, did you start using the Kaplan books, or which books or which material did you start using to prepare for the exams?
Okay. I used Kaplan from day one.
Okay.
Yeah, because like as I was saying, it was the video that I bumped into first.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started searching for their videos, but I wasn't getting like full one, since like you have to like make like a subscription, right? So one guy in Refund Medical University, yeah, like he advised me that I can go like online, right, tutorials, right, and try to search for like their books, their notes, and other stuff. Then I was lucky to like get so many resources on torrent.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I had books from like high yield anatomy, like physiology, cell, yeah, biology on torrent, right? Yeah, so like I had like concise review books, right? And I wanted to like be deep on those things. So like I also tried learning from like other teaching videos, like the usual ones, right? Yeah, in combination with the books.
With the Kaplan.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were using the Kaplan books and the Kaplan videos,
yeah,
and other videos like maybe Lecturio, Naji.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long do you think it took you to finish the whole Kaplan videos?
Okay. Like I would say it's all begins with passion, right? Like I was so passionate about it to the point that in a day I can exhaust about 6 hours on
Just the video.
yeah, the content. So for the videos, I was able to consume them very quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't really took me a long time to watch the Kaplan anatomy videos and the notes, because like those ones were even concise, like clinical approaches and that stuff. Yeah.
So you watch the videos and read the book, or how are you doing it?
Yeah, I'll watch the video, then I'll read the notes too.
Okay.
Then like I had like the usual like anatomy textbook, right?
Okay.
Like clinically oriented anatomy by Kate Moore.
Okay.
So and like Moore's book is the one that like the American students really used for their normal medical studies.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I wanted to like match up, right? Yeah. So I also spent time reading like Moore's book. Yeah.
Okay. So all the Kaplan books, which one do you think was well treated?
Okay, very good. For me, like I even forgot to chip in this. Like I also use like BRS or review series, right? But it is not all the BRS books that are good. For BRS physiology, for me, I would choose that one over
All the BRS.
any other.
Okay.
Yeah. For Kaplan to Kaplan pharmacology,
Okay.
and then physio, yeah, but some part of like physiology. Yeah, like I would choose that one over like other. Yeah. So like as time was going on, like I was able to get exposed to other like review stuffs. Yeah.
Okay.
Like osmosis.
Osmosis. Okay.
Yeah, osmosis was like giving like some free question banks. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I use it alongside my like preparation, right?
Okay, so most of the times people compare Kaplan 2014 to 2010. So which year of Kaplan material did you use?
Oh, okay. I started with 2010, right?
Kaplan 2010.
Yeah. Then as time goes on, like I came across the 2014 videos. Yeah.
Okay.
Even like I started using like like that one on like online. Yeah,
Online.
someone uploaded them free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So all this while were you solving some questions or you were just reading and watching videos?
Okay. Every course that I studied, right, I made sure that I exhaust time on like questions, right, to make sure that I understand it. Yeah, because if you learn without solving questions, like it will not stick, right? Yeah, but if you solve different questions, like the concept sticks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So in USMLE journey, people usually call first aid the Bible. So at this point in your preparation, you have not touched the first aid book at all.
Yeah.
So when did you start using the first aid book?
Okay. I started using the first aid when I finished pathology and pharmacology. It was the last like two like courses that like I finished, and that was in third year, second semester.
Okay, third year of medical school,
Yeah,
second semester.
at least second semester.
Okay. So what about pathoma? People also talk about pathoma for pathology.
Yeah.
Do you use that?
Yeah. I was using pathoma and like Gojan's pathology.
Okay.
By Edward F. Gojan. Yeah, but like I became addicted to pathoma. Yeah, at the end, because of how he makes like his concept so simple.
Okay. Okay. So the first aid, how exactly did you use it? Well, most people say the first aid is hard to read.
Yeah.
And you read, you even forget what you've read. So how did you study the first aid?
Okay. Like one thing like I did personally, and like and that really helped me was that I used a long time to prepare for the exams, right? And I prepared for individual courses, right?
Okay.
Before I combined everything, right? So the time I started with first aid, right, it was like a revision of the general thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew like almost everything.
Okay. First aid.
Yeah, but it taught me like how to keep like more information in a very simplified form.
Okay. So you think it is better to build your basic foundation strong before you start using the first aid?
Yes. And the reason why I'm saying that is that I know and like students who and I learned everything in first aid, right, from back to back, right? Yeah, but at the end of the day, like they didn't perform well in the actual exams because like they were not having like a good like
Foundation.
understanding of the steps. Yeah.
Okay. So how many times did you read the first aid book? Was it once or did you even finish it at all?
Okay. As I said earlier on, like I was like done with the individual courses, right? So like reading it was a bit easier for me.
Okay.
So I was able to read it twice.
Okay, you went through the entire first aid book twice.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the assessments? Which question bank did you really assess yourself?
Okay. I used like NBMEs, right?
Okay.
From 16 and from 18, and then UWorld.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the like at the initial stages, right? Like I faced some small like challenges with the scores because like I was now
The scores of UWorld or MBMs?
UWorld and like NBME 18.
Okay, so after Kaplan,
Yeah.
you came to first aid.
Yeah.
From first aid, you jumped to MBM, you went to UWorld.
Yeah.
From first aid, you started doing UWorld.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you do the UWorld questions? Well, did you do it mixed, or you selected subject or system wise?
Okay. Like I started my personal studies with individual, right? So at that point, like I decided to go for the mixed one, but I can't remember. There was a day that like I started the mixed one, and I was becoming like a bit like frustrated because of how complex like some of the questions were. Yeah. So like I started with the miss, but it got to a point in time like I switched to like
Subjects.
yeah, individual ones, and then I built like the confidence again, and then I went in for the like mixed one
Mixed
again.
one again.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many times did you go through the UWorld questions?
Okay. I went through it twice.
Okay, the entire UWorld
Yeah.
questions twice. Okay. Do you remember some of your scores you were getting?
Okay, for the first time, I had 238 for the first one, right? And 238 at that time was a good score.
Okay, you are talking of the first assessment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good score, right? Yeah,
Okay.
it was a very good score at that time, but I wasn't like really like satisfied. So like I can't remember like if my roommate who was here, like he would bear with things that like I wasn't really sleeping at that time. Yeah, like I had to sit up and then read and then like look for like those areas that like I couldn't get them. Yeah. So like I gave like a 2-month interval, right? Then I sat down and then read again. Then I took it again. So for the next one that I took,
The second
I had,
one.
yeah, I had 262.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was at that point that like I also took like the NBME 80, right? So and like for that one, like I went up by like 6 points different,
Okay.
right? And like so it was 268.
The MBM 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
18.
18, sorry.
Yeah, so I went online to read about it and like the like MBME scores, and then a guy said, I can't remember, I saw a post from a guy from Harvard, and like he said like an MBME score of 245 qualifies you to sit for the exams.
Okay.
So at that point, I realized that
you are ready for
I
the
can take the exams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you took only 2 MBMs,
Yeah.
16 and 18.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think when it comes to these exams, your actual preparation started when you started solving UWorld and MBMs, or it really started when you, from first year, you started with Kaplan?
Okay.
Based on how the exams was,
Yeah.
the main exams was.
Okay. I would say that it was like a combination of everything that I did that really like helped me, because I can't remember like that day, right? I was really nervous, especially and like when I saw the first STEM question, like when the question appeared,
okay,
right?
you're talking about the main exam, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
like when the question appeared, right? But one thing, like that, like really, like assisted me was that I spent a long time on question solving in individual courses, right? So when they present like STEM questions, right? I will not read much. I will know what they are. Yeah. So I'll just go fast, and then I'll check the options. Then I'll come back to continue. So as I continue, like there are certain terms that will give me a clue of
Okay,
the answer
that's
straight. Yeah. So I would say that like it was all my like everything I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay. So during the exam, some people say they take 2 blocks, go for break, and come back. Some people say they don't take any break at all. So how did you manage?
For me, like during my prep, right, I found out that if I sit for long hours, I become exhausted.
Okay.
Right? So like I took breaks. So like I'll take 2 blocks and then I'll break. So
Okay.
like 80 is okay, right? Yeah. So
You take 2 blocks, then you take a break.
Yeah.
Okay. So during the exams, which content or which subject area do you think are more in the exams, in the main exams?
Okay. Like as you always say, pathology,
Okay.
pharmacology, and I saw so many questions like mostly like immunology, microbiology, and pharmacology.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Biostats, like I didn't really, and I had a lot, but the few ones that I had too was difficult.
Biostats.
Yeah. Like I didn't really had it. Yeah. And then for pharmacology to like side effect, like drug side effects, it was a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So biostats, most medical students complain about biostats. Did you really prepare it specially before the exams?
I prepared it, but I knew like on the day like it may be my lowest score.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you know, you will not take a formula sheet there, right? And a lot of them, like you have to cram it, right?
Okay.
And already physiology is having so many formulas that you have to also cram.
Okay.
So I decided to like rather cram the physiology
instead of the
yeah. So like I studied like the few ones, like only few ones that I knew.
Okay.
Yeah, because I knew that like 10%, they will not bring more than 5% questions from biostats. Yeah, so I made sure that like my pathology is good, my pharmacology is good, my physiology is good, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because like I would say the most complex questions I saw was from
physiology. Physiology of which system or general?
Okay. First one, like I saw like one question. There was a new physiology question, and then the respiratory.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, few questions too from JIT.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you manage your time during the exams? Were you able to finish the block before the time, or?
For the first one, right? You know, like one thing that like I will really like to emphasize on for anyone who wants to take this is that on examination day, right? If you meet a question that is complicated, right? Don't give up, right? I can't remember when I started like my first blog, right? The first 2 questions, like I had to think. I spent some time, right? And what really helped me to go against time was that Kaplan was having a man called Dr. Teko.
Okay.
He is a biochemistry teacher. Yeah. And Dr. Harris
for pharmacology.
Yeah. And like Harris said that it is better to spend time on difficult questions and then spend few time on easy ones. And difficult is really relative, right? Mine may be someone's easiest. Yeah. So for me, if I'm exhausting time on the question, I know that I had that confidence that the next ones will be easy. Yeah. So for my first block that I wasn't able to go against time, but after my third block, like I was a bit fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the day before the exams, what did you do? Because most people talk about they didn't study at all. Some people also say they were nervous. They had to even go to the test center with their books. How did you prepare for the day before the exams?
Okay. For the day before the exams, right, I decided not to like bring down my confidence or any other thing, right?
Okay.
So like what I did was like I flew to the test center, right? Then I went into like a hotel. Yeah, I lodged in, and then I was just relaxing because me personally, I don't really read a day before exams. Because like I believe like if I'm able to free my mind, like I'll be able to think. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So during the main exams, can you compare it to any of the assessments you took, maybe UWorld or NBMEs, the content or the concept in the exams? Which assessment do you think is close to the main exams?
Okay. For like NBME 16, I'll not say that I'll not recommend in terms of like closeness, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but for 18 and then UWorld, right? Because I'm someone that like if I get a question wrong, even those that I'll get right, I will spend time and then read the explanation.
Okay.
Yeah. So because sometimes you can guess and get a question right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like I spend time like to also read explanation. So like I came across questions that were similar. Yeah. So like those ones were like the ones that was able to speed me up during the examination hour.
Okay. And most people also say the exams is about concepts. Some people also say it's about memorization. So based on your experience, do you think the exam is about memorizing or you have to understand everything?
Okay. Personally, I would say the exams is about concept, but there are things that you cannot understand through concepts, right? Like you making like a very huge information, right? And like small, and like then you represent them with words, right? Sometimes in order to like remember each word, you have to know that, yeah, and some formulas to you just have to cram it because you cannot send a foreign material there. So like that aspect is important in terms of like you like being able to write down formulas and then you use it to calculate certain small stuff. Yeah.
So per your assessment, do you think the exams is overrated or it's really difficult?
Okay. For me, like I'm always saying that if you watch like people's interviews, right? you may think that it's so easy, right?
The exam.
The exam is so easy, but it is individual difference, right? If you have enough time to prepare, for me, like I think it's because I invested a lot of time in my prep, and like also like I learned my concepts, yeah, and like I was able to understand like and like complex stuff in a simple way, right? So personally, and like that day, I wasn't. It got to after my first 2 blocks, like I was enjoying it to the point that like I can't remember. I was calling my like the overseer there that like, I think I'm moving
Fast. Okay.
Yeah. Is it
You were
really
just
really
answering the
because
questions first.
yeah, like is it the exams I'm
Oh, really?
right? Yeah. So isn't like it's not really about like the exams is not easy. The exams is not easy. But for me, like I had enough time. I invested a lot of time in and like pray. Yeah.
When you finish the exams, did you tell yourself that, oh, this exam I'm going to pass, or you felt maybe you get an average score, or did you know you're going to get this score you got?
Okay. Actually, I'm someone that if I sit for exams, right, questions that I'm prone to get wrong, right? I'm able to remember like some of them, right? Questions that I'm not sure, right? It doesn't matter the amount of questions I'm answering, I will be able to know that this one I wasn't sure. This one I chose it anyhow, right? Yeah. So based on the questions that I knew I wasn't sure, right? Yeah, I knew I would have a good score, yeah, because I had time to like repeat stuff and yeah, so I knew.
Okay. So when the results came, how was you feeling? How did you feel?
Actually, I didn't like as I was telling you that at that time I couldn't even check my results, right? Yeah, like my my mom like was at work, right? So I told her, and she gave it to like a guy who was also a resident there. Yeah, to check. Yeah, and and when like she told me about the score, right, I was amazed. Yeah, and like frankly speaking, because I was expecting a good score, right, but not
that's high.
Yeah,
okay.
because yeah.
So if you had to start this whole preparation again, what would you do different?
Okay. If I'm I'm to start like everything again, right? Even though like my like the first one like went very well, I will invest much money into like review stuff. Like
you were questions.
Like you were like MBMEs, and then I will take my time to also learn explanations to questions.
Okay.
Because sometimes like an explanation to a question can be like a question that you will meet
Okay.
in the test.
Yeah. So if you are an average student, right? Your foundation is not good, and you are given about 6 months to prepare for these exams. What materials will you use? 6 months.
Okay. For me, like I'm always saying that okay, being a good student, right, may give you an advantage in the exams, right? But if an average student prepare adequately, right? Yeah. So for me, if I'm an average student and I've been to medical school, right, already.
Yeah.
And I want to take the exams, 6 good months, right? All that I will do is that first I'll focus on Q banks, question banks, review books, and then e-world.
Okay.
So any course, like I'll group all the basic courses, right? So I will set a standard for myself that I have to review the whole of anatomy 2 weeks, solve all the likely questions in 2 weeks, right? So it means that like per day, I have to invest about 6 hours on reading, right? Yeah. So if you have studied it already, like reviewing will not be so difficult for you. Yeah. Just that like you meet different and like questions and then different names to certain like clinical and like
Diseases.
you know, and like Americans and names and other stuff. Yeah. So just like have like a good standard and then just do it a way that will stick faster individually. Yeah.
So preparing for these exams, most people give up at a point because it's very tiring. What was your motivation? What kept you going?
Okay. Actually, like what really like motivated me was that coming to like medical school, right? And like one person that like I look up to, right? Even though I've never met him before, right? Was Dr. Yeah. So I had a dream of like becoming like a surgeon like him, like a neurosurgeon. So when I was like preparing for the exams, like I told myself that the only boundary like that stands between me and Dr. Benkasen is the exams.
Okay.
Right? So I decided to bridge that like boundary, right? Yeah. And even if like I don't end up doing that same thing there, right? I may do it somewhere and go there.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So like I had like this motivation from day one, and also like one thing that really helped me was that I avoided competition.
Okay.
In school.
What do you mean by competition?
You know, like I was a student preparing for the exams, and it is very tiring, right? So I wasn't having enough time to even prepare for my own school
Okay,
exams,
end of
right?
semester exams.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you are a student who is competitive, like you want to outshine your classmates and other stuff, at the end of the day, you may not do well.
Okay.
Why? Because your school exams and the exams is different. It's quite different. Yeah. So like one thing that me personally, like I'll share with anyone in school or who want to take these exams and then pass well is that don't try to compete because we are different. Like we all have different aims. Maybe like the people that you are like competing with, they may not be going where you are going.
Yeah. Okay. That's very powerful. So for anybody who is watching us today and preparing for these exams, what advice do you have for such a person?
Okay. For me, like all that I would say is that like consistency is a key, because like you will not be able to like master so much concept if you are not consistent, right? And the brain is like designed in such a way that like once you do like things repeatedly, right, like it sticks, right? So for me, I never had any teacher in classroom teaching me like anything about this thing, right? Because I was always ahead of my class. So it means that like I will read before I enter to that class, right? Good. So but I was able to go through, right, because I was consistent. Yeah. So for me, consistency and also like focus, right? Yeah, and as I said earlier on, avoid competitions.